Ladies and gentlemen, I've been running the numbers. I've been deciphering the code, and I have found a very strange pattern with the upcoming Switch games. And on the surface, it could be something very simple, but I just don't think that's the case. I think there is a bigger reason for all of this, so let's go ahead and get right into this video. That's right, I am in fact a super genius. The numbers, what do they mean?
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
And when you start to break it all down and you move some stuff around, it's all so simple. This is exactly what it means. Alright, now that we have validated my genius, that sounds so stupid. I have found an upcoming trend with new Switch games, and I think they're doing this for a certain reason. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, it would truly mean the world to me. Let's go ahead and get right into this video. So if we go back, I don't know, multiple decades, and you think about a new game, for the longest time, at least until I would say digital games became more prevalent, but for the longest time, we would go to a midnight release, and that midnight release would happen Thursday at 12 a.m., which would technically be Friday. And if someone was to come up to you and ask you, hey, when is a new Switch game coming out? Or a new movie coming out? Or maybe even some new music? There would always be just one answer. Well, it's coming out on Friday. And this is always done for a certain reason. People get paid on Friday usually. So if you release something on Friday and somebody gets paid Friday, they're more likely to spend money on whatever that new product is, opposed to releasing it on Tuesday when people are a little bit more broke or whatever. So Friday has always been the day, and this is no different for Nintendo games. Even for the Switch, games just come out on Friday. You have some games that come out on the eShop every single day, but those are pretty dumb games that we don't need to mention. But this is all changing, and it's not just one game. This is for major games. So ladies and gentlemen, what I've done is I've looked up every major first-party Nintendo game that's coming out for the Switch all the way up until January, because that's the last game we know that's releasing. I don't think Nintendo has said anything's coming out in February yet, but from June to January, let's check it out. So in June, we had Luigi's Mansion 2 HD release, and this released on June 27th. And I remember I was going to make a video for it like the day it came out, and I remember when I was scheduling it, I scheduled it for Friday, and at the last second I was talking to somebody and they're like, no, it comes out on Thursday. I was like, that's strange, but thank you for catching that, because that is a weird thing for Nintendo to do. Then we have the major release for July, which was Nintendo World Championship NES Edition, which is like this little collection of NES games where you do these little time trials, and this in fact came out Thursday, July 18th. So when that came out, I was like, weird, another Thursday game for the Switch? But even though this is a Switch game, it kind of didn't feel like a real release. It's like a collection of trials, and it almost felt like more of a collector's item, so I was like, okay, I'll write that one off. But then we just got the major release for August. We had this big trailer for Emio. What the hell is Emio? And it is a Famicom Detective Club game. So the actual title is Emio the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, and this launches August 29th. So we're living in the future. You have a calendar on your phone, on your computer. You probably have a calendar on your TV. Or you actually might have a real calendar. Regardless which calendar you're using, if you look it up, that's August 29th, a Thursday. Then we have the big release for September, which is probably one of the biggest releases of this year, a brand new 2D Zelda game, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. September 26th, that's also a Thursday. I know there's a Switch coming out. I don't know if it's coming out the same day as a game. I don't remember if they do that for the other special edition Switches, but regardless, this is coming out Thursday. Maybe the Switch is coming out Thursday as well. But once we made it to Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I didn't even have to look for the future releases, but for the sake of this video, we will. October's big release is Super Mario Party Jamboree, which is crazy because out of all the games that got announced at that Direct, I feel like this one was like announced and then everybody completely forgot about it, or at least I completely forgot about it. But this is coming out October 17th, and that is in fact, ladies and gentlemen, a Thursday. I was like, okay, I'm like 99.9% sure all the releases from now on are going to be Thursday. And when we go to November's release, which is Mario and Luigi Brothership, this comes out November 7th. That is in fact a Thursday. I'm actually pretty excited for this game. I think a lot of the newer generation hasn't got to play stuff like this. They're pretty cool games. Like, I think one of the only ones I actually played was on the Game Boy Advance. It was really funny. There's like this weird scene where Mario's in a shower and Toad finds him. Nintendo used to be a pretty weird and wacky company. But regardless, I'm getting sidetracked by Mario in a shower. I mean, wouldn't that sidetrack you as well? So at the time of recording this video, I don't think we have a December release. I'm thinking we get another Nintendo Direct September, maybe October, maybe September actually, to show off some more Zelda Echoes of Wisdom footage. And then I think we'll get our December release then, and then February, March, and April, or something like that. And I think March is the Switch 2 release date. But we do have January's release, right? And it's a game I'm not that excited about because, one, it's on the 3DS, just play that version, and two, it's $60 freaking. I can normally defend Nintendo for a lot, I cannot defend them for this, but it's Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and this is releasing January 16th. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what day that is? Can you guess? I'm sure you can if you've been following the theme of this video. It is a Monday. No, I'm just playing. It's a Thursday. But that just solidifies it. Nintendo is releasing all their major first-party games from now on out on Thursday. What does this mean? Well, it probably doesn't mean anything. They probably just think we'll release it on Thursday, we'll get everybody buying it that day, and then we'll get another bump the next day on Friday when people actually get paid. So it's probably just from a business perspective, but I also think this is going to transition into the Switch 2. And I'm thinking we get an event on Friday for the Switch 2, like a weekend event or something. But I find this very, very strange, or at least a little interesting and curious. Like I said, it probably isn't anything, but if you've done something for 30, 40 years at this point, you know, Nintendo's been releasing consoles and games since the mid-80s. If you've been releasing big game releases on Friday for multiple decades, and then in a random year like 2024, right as you're transitioning out of a console into a new console, you start dropping games on Thursday, well then I think it's at least worth mentioning, because it's just weird. I don't know. And I get it. I'm probably overanalyzing this, but little things like this and little nuances, like in the gaming industry, they just interest me so much. But it's also because I nerd out for like small details like this. So I thought I would talk about this. And you know, there's a good chance you think this is insanely boring, and I get that. But I could just talk about everything everybody else is talking about, or we could have one day where we have our own little adventure on Mr. Robot Joe's channel. It's our own little secret. Yeah, that sounds kind of cool, right? But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about all this information? One, are you going to be picking up any of these games? If you had to ask me which ones I'm most excited for, it would be Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and the Mario and Luigi game. But going through this video, I was like, holy crap, Nintendo is spazzing out in the last year of their console. And it's just insanely impressive. And two, what do you think the meaning behind all this is? I would seriously love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you could. We are growing on both platforms, and that's very, very cool. Thank you so much. We're starting to feel like a real community here. And you guys know me. I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.